Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we're going to discuss about orchid care during winter time. Do you see the temperature there? Yeah, it's not really low, but winter is coming, trust me. It's a really big difference between the temperatures we have now and what we had in summertime, so care needs to be adjusted a little bit, specifically watering. And when it comes to this setup, it is new for me. It is the first winter I will experience in this setup, and already I can see I do need to make some adjustments. Now, I made a video on how I water my orchids in the summertime. You can check it out in an info card here, and I'll also put the link in the description below. So if you missed that, you might want to watch it, because I will refer a little bit to that and compare how things are now to how they used to be in the summertime. So it is watering day for some of my orchids, not all of them. There are some differences now, and I'll tell you what the differences are. So first of all, clay pots are very porous and very ventilated. For this reason, they will dry much faster than a normal plastic pot, even with ventilation holes. So the way I used to water in summertime was to wet as much of the top of the medium as possible, and I actually left a little bit of water in the tray as well. Ceramic pots do soak up water as well, so leaving water in the tray made sure that the pot did not steal the water from the medium, and also because it was just so warm, the water would evaporate really fast. So it was in my benefit to leave water in the tray, because by the next day or even by nighttime, all the water here in the tray would be gone. Well, things don't work the same right now. If I leave water in the tray now, it will be here tomorrow as well. Not in the same quantity, but quite a lot of it. And that's a little bit problematic, especially with the worm growers, because clay, as wonderful as it is, has a little drawback. It tends to stay cool. As long as it's moist, it is really cool. The more it evaporates, the cooler it gets. So I was telling you in a video that my setup is a hybrid between semi-hydroponics and also conventional potting. And it is, in the sense that I can control it almost 100% and still get the benefits of the moisture provided by semi-hydroponics. And here is what I mean by control. In a semi-hydroponic setup, you have a reservoir. When you water the orchid, water will still be in that reservoir no matter what you do. You might tilt it, things will come out. It's really hard to get water out of that reservoir. And that pool of water is beneficial in intermediate, but especially warm climates. However, my climate is not so warm right now. So keeping orchid roots in very cold water is really not ideal. For this reason, semi-hydroponics never worked for me, because in my previous environment, I had low temperatures in winter as well. With this setup though, I can control the amount of water that I give to my orchids, and you can already see where I'm going with this. So right now when I water, I pretty much do the same thing, but I do not let water accumulate on that little tray, particularly with Camellia orchids. So right now, I can actually be very good with the amount that I just dosed. Because water will not evaporate so slow, this watering can last me for another 5 days or so even. So I can adjust the quantity of water that I give to my orchid because I have Seramis. And Seramis is quite absorbent. I think a little bit more because this pot has quite a lot of Seramis. And as you can see, only a little bit of water comes down through the pot, and this water will be absorbed by the pot. But in an hour or two, this water will be gone, and this is what I want. I don't want to keep my orchids soggy, particularly in cold temperatures. So I was saying that I can actually control the quantity of water because Seramis is very absorbent. If I only had leca, I could not do this. If I only had bark chips, I could not do this. So whatever water is dispersed in this pot will even out because of the Seramis. Now I do adapt and adjust this according to the orchid that I have. This is a Camellia here, so I don't want to keep her soaking wet. It's not beneficial. But there are some orchids which have different preferences, and I also have different sized pots. Tolumnias, I have quite tiny pots, and this has already been watered yesterday. These pots still dry out very fast, and for these pots I leave quite a lot of water in the tray, which will be absorbed and then it will evaporate very fast. Because even if the pot is smaller, there is still a great surface area that evaporates. And also, these pots do have quite a lot of leca inside. You don't see it, but there is. That's a little bit of a mistake. If I would do it again, I would put only Seramis in these types of pots, pretty much no matter the orchid. They are just too tiny to be okay with leca. They dry up super fast for me. In winter even, they still dry up in 3 days or so. So these guys sadly always need to be watered more frequent than other orchids. So for the main part in this time of year, I do prefer to keep my orchids rather dry than super moist. And I used to do this in my organic setup as well, in bark. But what I used to do past winters was just run water through the bark as opposed to actually soaking the orchids, and that worked pretty well for me. And it's the same idea that I try to apply to Seramis and inorganic medium, only adapted to my style of watering. And so far so good. I am very pleased still with Seramis, but I do see that I need to adapt according to my season nonetheless. And the main difference is the quantity of water that I offer to my orchids, which also translates in water saved. So being more economic is really not bad. Now when it comes to fertilizer, I did cut down on fertilizer as well. Even if it's still warm right here, day length is greatly reduced, and I do see a little bit of a slowdown in my orchids as well. So I fertilize every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks right now as things are slowing down. And of course the orchids that do benefit from a winter rest or no fertilizer in winter, they're not getting anything this time of year. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you're using Seramis in inorganic setups, let me know how it goes for you down below. I know this is not a setup for everybody, but those of you who try it, I really want to know what you think about it and how you get along and how things are going. Okay, so if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe to my channel for daily orchid and plants videos and of course updates. And I'll see you all next time. Bye! Yes, it is November, but they don't care. They're blooming. They're looking quite nice. And I think because of the sun, you cannot properly see the colors. But there we go, my hibiscus are doing spectacular. I still cannot seem to get all of them in bloom at the same time. Maybe next year.